In the late 1960s and early 1970s, Northern California had a killer on the loose. He called himself the Zodiac Killer. He murdered innocent people and sent letters to newspapers bragging about it. He claimed to have taken 37 lives, but only 5 were ever confirmed. Each letter came with strange symbols, secret codes, and threats that terrified everyone who read them. Hey, you found Hidden Truths. This is where we dig into strange stories, mysteries, and the stuff people don't usually talk about. Let's see what's really hiding underneath. On the night of December 20th, 1968, around 11 p.m. near Vallejo, California, 17-year-old David Faraday and 16-year-old Betty Lou Jensen were sitting in a parked car off Lake Herman Road. Gunshots broke the silence. Both teens were killed instantly. No witnesses, no suspects. Just the start of one of America's most disturbing unsolved cases. 7 months later, 3 California newspapers, the San Francisco Chronicle, Vallejo Times-Herald, and San Francisco Examiner, each received nearly identical letters. They were handwritten, filled with spelling mistakes and arrogance. The writer claimed to be the killer from Lake Herman Road and demanded his words be printed on the front page of every paper. He signed each letter with a strange circle crossed by a line and ended them with a chilling phrase. "This is the Zodiac speaking." It was the first time the world heard that name. The police didn't know it yet, but they were dealing with someone who didn't just want to kill. He wanted to be remembered. Inside those letters was something new. A 408-character cipher made of odd shapes and symbols. He promised that once solved, it would reveal his identity. The FBI, cryptologists, and even Navy codebreakers tried to decode it. But in the end, it wasn't the government who solved the Zodiac's puzzle. It was a schoolteacher named Donald Hardin and his wife Betty at their kitchen table in Salinas, California. When they cracked the message, it revealed something even darker than anyone expected. It read, "I like killing people because it is so much fun. No name, no motive, just enjoyment." He compared people to wild game and claimed killing gave him the most thrilling experience of his life. That was the moment investigators realized they weren't dealing with a man trying to hide. They were dealing with someone who wanted the world to see him. The Zodiac wasn't finished. His crimes continued, each more calculated, each more cruel. July 4th, 1969, Blue Rock Springs Park. 2 more victims, Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau. They were sitting in a parked car when another vehicle pulled up beside them. Without warning, shots rang out. Darlene was killed instantly. Michael survived, bleeding from multiple wounds. An hour later, the phone at the Vallejo Police Department rang. A calm, male voice spoke, "I want to report a double murder. No, a double murder." He even gave directions to the scene. His tone wasn't rushed or nervous. It was casual, almost polite. September 27th, 1969, Lake Berryessa. College students Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were enjoying a quiet afternoon by the water. A man approached wearing a black hood and a symbol on his chest, a white crosshair in a circle. He carried a gun and rope. He tied them up and told them he only wanted their money and car keys. But then he pulled out a knife. He stabbed them both multiple times and calmly walked away. Before leaving, he wrote a message on their car door. Vallejo 12-2068, 7469, September 2769, 6:30 by knife. He signed it with his symbol. Cecilia died 2 days later. Brian lived and described the killer's voice as deep and emotionless. That night, police received another phone call. "I want to report a murder. No, a double murder." Once again, the voice sounded calm, almost satisfied. 2 weeks later, the Zodiac struck again. October 11th, 1969, San Francisco. Cab driver Paul Stein picked up a passenger near Union Square. The ride ended in blood. Stein was shot in the head at point-blank range. The killer tore off a piece of his shirt, wiped down the cab, and walked away, right past responding officers. A dispatch mistake described the suspect as a black male, allowing the real killer, a white man, to slip into the night. Days later, the San Francisco Chronicle received another letter. Inside was the missing piece of Paul Stein's bloody shirt. It was undeniable. The Zodiac was mocking the police again. "This is the Zodiac speaking," he wrote. "I am the murderer of the taxi driver." The letter also contained threats: bombs, school buses, mass shootings. Every word fueled more panic. Every headline gave him more power. By 1970, the Zodiac had turned Northern California into a stage. Reporters competed to cover each new letter. Police received hundreds of tips, many useless, some terrifyingly close. Parents kept their children home. People avoided driving at night. In November 1969, the Zodiac sent a new code, a 340-character cipher that would remain unsolved for over half a century. For years, it became the obsession of cryptographers and amateur detectives. Forums were filled with theories. Entire careers were built trying to decode it. Then, in December 2020, a team of private citizens from the US, Belgium, and Australia finally cracked it using computer software. But instead of clues, it delivered only mockery. "I hope you are having lots of fun trying to catch me." No name, no apology, just laughter from the past. It was his final punchline, and the world had waited 51 years to hear it. Dozens of suspects have emerged over the decades. The most famous is Arthur Lee Allen, a man who lived near the crimes, owned weapons similar to those used, and even told friends he wanted to call himself Zodiac. Police searched his home and found disturbing items: blood-stained knives, tapes about cryptography, and drawings that resembled zodiac symbols. But the evidence didn't fit. His handwriting didn't match the letters, and later, DNA tests ruled him out. Then came Gary Francis Post, a house painter and Air Force veteran who died in 2018. A group of private investigators claimed his name fit one of the ciphers, and that he had taught a group of men to kill like a family. But once again, no solid proof. The truth is, the Zodiac might have been someone no one ever suspected. A regular man living a quiet life, watching the chaos he created unfold on TV. As time went on, the letters slowed down, but they never truly stopped. Even years later, police departments across the country would receive new ones. Some were hoaxes, others felt disturbingly real. Each message rekindled fear and obsession. People wanted closure, but every new theory seemed to lead nowhere. The Zodiac had achieved what most killers couldn't. He didn't need to keep killing to stay alive. He just needed to keep us guessing. The 1970s ended, but the fascination never did. Books, movies, podcasts. Everyone wanted to solve the puzzle. The case inspired films like Dirty Harry and Zodiac. Every few years, new evidence surfaced, only to be disproved or forgotten. The killer had become larger than life, a symbol of mystery itself. The final confirmed letter arrived in 1978. It read, "This is the Zodiac speaking. I am back with you." There were no new murders, just those same haunting words. No one knew if the real Zodiac wrote it or if it was a copycat. But either way, his voice returned, and his legend grew even more. Today, more than 50 years later, the Zodiac case remains open. Cold files are still revisited, DNA is still being tested from stamps and envelopes. Maybe one day science will give us a name. But even if it does, will that truly be the end? Because the Zodiac was never just one man. He was a performance, a mirror reflecting society's hunger for mystery. He used fear as a language and the media as his amplifier. In a way, he predicted the age we live in now, where attention is currency and notoriety never dies. So why do we keep returning to his story? Maybe because the Zodiac represents something we can't control. Evil without reason, logic without emotion. He turned random violence into ritual, and the unknown into obsession. And the scariest part? He didn't need to hide in the shadows. He hid in plain sight, right inside our fascination. The Zodiac once wrote that he was collecting slaves for the afterlife, that those he killed would serve him when he ruled another world. But maybe the truth is simpler. He already built his afterlife here. Every discussion, every video, every decoding attempt keeps him alive. Every time someone says his name, his story breathes again. He doesn't need new victims. He already has all of us. Hooked, curious, unable to look away.
Maybe the real code was never in his letters. Maybe it was in the way we can't stop looking for him. He built a puzzle that could never be solved, because solving it would mean forgetting him.
More than half a century later, his voice still echoes through old recordings and newspaper clippings. His symbol still appears in documentaries and online debates. And somewhere, buried in a cold case file, his final secret might still be waiting. Or maybe it never existed at all. Because maybe the Zodiac never wanted to be found. He just wanted to be remembered. And he got exactly that. Because monsters die, but mysteries, they live forever.